What's up everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel, and today we'll be going through my round 17 AFL tips and predictions. I do apologise for getting this video out a day later on the Wednesday. It's normally always on the Tuesday, but I did a full guys stream until I win and I played for 15 hours straight and I just got too tired and had a nap, so apologies for that. And if this video is out a little bit later than 4, again apologies because I had another nap, so I was just really tired. And also, we are really close to 20k subscribers. We're now like 450 away, so if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the chance. We want to get to 20k as soon as we possibly can. And then I'll be doing some giveaways when we do get to 20k subscribers to say thank you for everyone who's given me the support that they have this year. Now, as always, before we do get into our round 17 tips, we'd like to review the round that was round 16. And it was a better round for my likings compared to round 15. I did 6 out of 9. I did just go all the favourites, so it wasn't that impressive or anything like that. I went the Lions to beat the Dogs by 18. I was 23 points off there. I went the Blues to beat the Saints. I wasn't really backing in the Saints. I didn't think we were going to respond after our form, but I was gladly mistaken there. I then went the Swans like pretty much everyone else did. I didn't expect the Bombers to do what they did on the weekend. The D's was a pretty easy tip. The Cats, well, it was pretty much a free tip. And then the Suns, they were just really unlucky against the Pies. And now they're, 6 wins in a row. They're going amazing. And on the Sunday, I got the 3 tips correct. Richmond, GWS, and Freo to get 6 out of 9, which is alright. I'll take that. It wasn't that bad. Now, this week, if you see the title on the thumbnail, was a week of punishments. I had to film 4. Last week, my big calls only got the 1 correct. And if you saw the comments in the last tipping video, you would have seen Geordie Pluto's comment really stick out. And that was for Nick Valero to throw eggs at me if I didn't get the big calls correct. So I did do that punishment along with 3 others. This was a week of me really just going over my punishments and filming as many as I could. Because I have a few people that were commenting saying, look, you say you do these punishments, but you never do them. You're not being true to your word. So I guess, yeah, enjoy a bit of a highlights compilation package, if you call it that, of all the punishments that I got to film over the weekend.
You can't. Did that go in? You can't.
He's got it. What a superstar. He's fucking celebrating. Where's the lamb sauce? Where's the lamb sauce? Fruit salad. Yummy, yummy. Fruit salad. Yummy, yummy! Fruit salad! Yummy, yummy! Yummy, 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 yummy! Fruit salad! Mate, you're like rocks.
You can, Nick.
Well, there you go. Hopefully you found those funny. If I can, I'll try and upload them on more card meds so you can watch them back for their entirety. I've got to say, though, out of all the punishments, I'd probably have to go the Midnight Goal King Challenge as being the worst. It was so cold, I couldn't feel my fingers. I couldn't even see where the ball was going. I don't know why I all thought that was a good idea at all. But regardless, we head into the round 17 tips, and we start off with an absolute belter. This really couldn't be any more of a 50-50 game. This is as 50-50 as a 50-50 game really is. We've got the D's and the Cats at GALORE Stadium. The Cats, well, they were super impressive against the Roos. They completely obliterated them from the get-go, or after quarter time especially. They won by 112 points. Cameron and Hawkins kicked 10, I think, between them. But I feel like the D's, they are starting to find their form now with 2 wins in a row. Very good against the Crows, really good against the Lions. And they're one of a few teams, and are one of a few teams who are capable of beating the Cats at GALORE, achieving the feat last year. I think the D's, with their defence, they can lock down the Cats' forward line in, the forward duo in Cameron and Hawkins. And I feel like the D's can also, they can win it in the midfield as well. I have a feeling the D's, it's going to be a tough one here, but I'm going to just go the D's in this one. I have a feeling they can get the job done. And in this game, I'll go the D's to win it by 10 points. And my big call, both teams score 69 points or less. The second game of the round, we've got the Friday night clash between the Swans and the Dogs. The two sides have recorded quite disappointing losses, particularly the Swans. I mean, I don't think many people expected Bulldogs to beat the Lions, but I think everyone really did expect the Swans to beat the Bombers. They're just showing themselves why they are really one of the most inconsistent sides in the comp. How can you beat the D's at the MCG, but then back it up a month later and lose to the Bombers at the MCG? Like, there's no reason for that. But I guess the Swans' inaccuracy almost cost themselves. That third quarter, they really should have put the game away. And the Bombers, especially in that last quarter, they just played with so much intensity. They wanted to win the game, and they did. They were really, really impressive, the Bombers. And the Dogs in the game at quarter time, but they dropped off. And the Dogs, for mine, they can beat the bad sides at home, but when they're playing away and they're playing up against the great sides, they get exposed. They go to show why they're just not that good. And I feel like something similar will happen in this game. I know the Swans haven't been great. They've been inconsistent, but this is where they play their best. At night, at the SCG night games. They never drop the SCG night games. They generally dominate the SCG night games. I think it might be raining for this clash, but still, I think I'm backing the Swans here. And I back them in quite comfortably. I see a 33-point win. My big call, the Swans are up by 20 or more points at quarter time. The Saturday games, we've got the first one being between the Pies and the Roos. A couple of weeks ago, I saw the odds and I saw the Roos being at $15. And I was just thinking to myself, that's a bit too high for North. I think that's a bargain. North's odds shouldn't be as high as what they were, but after the last couple of weeks, they almost should be even higher, the odds. I mean, they've just been terrible, North Melbourne. That is all I've got to say. Another terrible performance against Geelong, losing by 112 points. It's getting worse for them. I think they only had 25 inside 50s all game, 7 scoring shots. I saw a damning stat where they only had 13 possessions inside 50. I don't know what it was. It was something really terrible like that. And another record, I think now 11 games in a row where they've been beaten by 47 or more points. I don't know where they're going to get the next win, if they are going to get the next win this season. Collingwood, on the other hand, they're the most formed team of the comp. I reckon it's safe to say that. I mean, they've won 6 in a row. They just scraped on the line against the Suns in a really, really good game of footy. And in this one, I just see the Pies absolutely dominating from the get-go. It's a question of how many points the Pies will win by. And I'm tipping a Collingwood win by 63 points. With my big call, the Pies have 35 or more scoring shots. The next game of the round, we've got a real belter. Really a 50-50 clash, particularly when you look at the odds. But you look at the tipsters percentage, a lot more people went the Tigers or are going the Tigers. But yeah, the Suns taking on the Tigers in this one at Metricon Stadium. The Suns, they've been super unlucky. I think after those 2 close losses, I reckon their finals chances are probably over. They need to win pretty much every one of their remaining games. And yeah, that's just almost too tough for them. The Tigers, their form has been pretty good. I mean, I think they've only lost the 1 game from their last 5 or 6 outings. So that was obviously against the Cats, which you could argue they almost should have won that game. But yeah, I was at the game against the Tigers and the Eagles, and I'd arguably say it was even in the contest. The Tigers, I feel like the only reason they won by that much is because they were just super accurate in front of goals. But West Coast, if they won the game, I would have said that they deserved the win. Both sides played pretty evenly, I would say. And the Tigers, I didn't think they were that good. However, in this one, look, I think the Tigers probably should win this game. But after what we've seen from the Suns, those 2 close losses goes to show that they've got the commitment, they've got the fight and the hunger, and they just don't say die. The Suns are not going to say die for the rest of the season, I don't think. And they deserve a win. I think they'll win this game. I just see a win happening for the Suns. I reckon it will be close if they do get the win. I'm going to go 6 points the Suns win by, with Levi Casbolt and Mabai Chol combining for 6 or more goals as my big call. The next game of the round, this is one I'm very much looking forward to. We've got the Saints and the Dockers at Marvel Stadium. They proved all the critics wrong by upsetting the Blues by 15 points. We were really good, really from the get-go. When we actually start well, that helps. And we kick the first 3 goals of the game. You could argue the Blues' inaccuracy cost them, particularly in that third, but at the end of the day, the Saints were probably the better team and did deserve to win that game. And the Dockers, they have been getting the results, which helps for them, but they haven't been getting the results very convincingly. I mean, last week, they only just scraped over the line against the Power after being up by as much as 40 points. The week before, they lost against the Blues quite convincingly, and then the week before the bye, they almost lost to the Hawks. So they've been a bit shaky in the form, and at Marvel, they just don't know how to play the ground very well at Marvel. And the Saints, as of late, we've been very good matching up against the Dockers. We beat them early this season at Optus. We haven't lost to the Dockers at Marvel since 2015 when we were terrible and they were great. So, yeah, this is going to be a close game of footy. I don't really know who to lean on. I feel like because I'm a Sainer and we did beat the Blues last week and the Dockers lost to the Blues at Marvel. I will lean on the Saints here. I've probably got to back them in. I feel like the form of last week will carry on to this game. But I feel like it's honestly just going to be whatever team makes the most of their chances in this one. And I feel like the Saints, we were accurate last week. I feel like we'll get the job done in this one by 14 points. With my big call, the Dockers score 5 more behind than they do goals. And the other Saturday game, we've got a pretty irrelevant one, honestly. We've got the Power take on the Giants. I feel like after last week, Port Adelaide have kissed their final chances goodbye. Although they're still a chance. They are still a chance. And their form suggests that they are probably deserving of a final spot if you just don't count the first 5 games. Almost could have beaten the Dockers if it was maybe another 5 or 10 minutes, potentially the Power could have ran over the top. But when you're down by 40 points, that's going to cost you, and that is what ultimately cost the Power. They were just not good enough in the second and third quarters. GWS, they did pick up a result against the Hawks, but it wasn't a very great win. I mean, it was a wet game of footy. It was against Hawthorn. No one watched the game. No one watched the game live. I think it was like a 4,500 crowd. It was a very irrelevant contest that the Giants got the win in, but at the end of the day, who really cares? The Giants have just still been terrible this year. They've been super disappointing and have been just such a fall from grace after the last couple of seasons. So yeah, I don't see the Giants really having much of a chance here. The Power have been pretty good as of late, particularly at the Adelaide Oval. I see a pretty comfortable win by the Power, and I'm going to tip him by 29 points, with a big call that the Giants score 4 or less goals by half-time. Now we move to the Sunday clashes, with the first of the 3 being between the Lions and the Bombers. Two sides recording very impressive wins, and I'd arguably say the Bombers, their fans would be more impressed and more pleased with their result. No one really gave them a chance against the Swans, did they? And rightly so. The Swans, they were playing for a potential top 4 spot. The Bombers were only really playing for pride. But right now, the Bombers have actually found some form. I know they lost against West Coast, but if you throw that away, they beat the Swans, who were in the top 8 at the time, and they also beat the Saints, who were in the top 8 at the time. I think both sides were 6th at the time. So now when you look at the ladder, it ultimately really doesn't mean much, but for the fans and just for the Bombers faithful, that'll give them a lot of hope and confidence leading into next year. If they can pick up these results, particularly against the better sides later into the season, it gives them hope for next year that they could turn things around. And I think that they might. And the Lions, I don't really want to go over this game too much. We all know what happened. The Lions, after quarter time, were way too good, way too classy. And I think something similar will happen in this game. I don't think Essendon will be embarrassed. I don't think Brisbane comfortably beating you at the Gabba is too much of an embarrassment. The Lions are a formidable force up there, and I don't see it going any other way other than a Brisbane win. My tip will be the Lions win it by 38 points, and my big call, Charlie Cameron kicks 5 or more goals. He'll continue his impressive form with another good one against the Bombers. Now, the second last game of the round, we've got another pretty irrelevant one in terms of shaping up the top 8 and the ramifications for that one. The Hawks take on the Crows at Marvel Stadium. I feel like the Marvel Stadium factor makes it almost a neutral venue for the two sides, because both sides don't really play in Marvel that well, and we saw what happened with the Hawks when they played the Dogs. They were very heavily beaten. This is a tough one. I mean, Adelaide are high on the ladder, but I still feel like Hawthorn are a better side, and they're a better side at their best. Hawthorn probably don't deserve to be on just the 4 wins, particularly after the start. Like, that just seems crazy to me. I feel like I'm leaning on the Crows here. I'm going to go the Crows in this one by 17 points. I feel like with the Crows, they never get smashed. They always provide the effort and commitment every game they play. Yes, they might not be picking up results due to their skill gap, but at least compared to the Hawks, they don't have those games where they just completely get blown out of the water. So because of that, and because of the fact that I just said Crows upset for some reason, I'm going the Crows in a bit of an upset by 17 points. And a big call for this game will be that Adelaide have a goal kicking accuracy of 70% or more. The last game of the round, we've got West Coast and the Blues at Optus Stadium. This is for sure a danger game for the Blues. I mean, a few weeks ago, they would see this fixture and just mark a win. But now, I would not take the Eagles lightly. If you take the Eagles lightly here and act all cocky before the game starts, I reckon Colin will lose this game. West Coast last month has been super impressive. When we compare it to their last 10 outings, they were very good against Richmond. I don't think the scoreboard gives them enough justice. They beat the Bombers. They were really close against the Cats, 18 points that was. And after quarter time against Adelaide, they were almost the better side. Their last month has been super impressive. West Coast are a side now that I wouldn't take napping. They're getting plays back. They got Natanui back last week. Colm lost against the Saints, and if they lose in this game, their chance at top 8, with a fixture that's pretty difficult coming up, might be gone. Like, they might not make the 8 if they lose this game. So it's huge. Huge, this game. And if you look at the form guide, the Eagles have won their last 5 clashes against the Blues. Does that make me want to tip them? I don't know if I've got the balls to go the Eagles in this one. I think the Blues are the better side, that's for sure. And I think they're gonna know what's on the line. They're gonna know what's at stake in this one. The Blues, I don't see them dropping this one, but they better head into this game respecting their opposition. Otherwise, I see a West Coast upset on the cards. But I think the Blues, they win this game, and they should win it fairly comfortably by 25 points. With my big call, the Eagles, they kick 4 or more goals by quarter time. So those are my tips for round 17. I went the D's, the Swans, the Pies, the Suns, the Saints, the Power, the Lions, the Crows, and the Blues. There are a few 50-50 games in this one, and I've gone for a couple of upsets here and there. I feel like this could be one of those rounds where if things go my way, I could get a high score. I really want to get a 9/9 this year. I don't think it's going to happen. It is very difficult, but a 9/9 would be great if it did occur. And of course, before we end the video, we'll head to our tipping comp. If you want to join it, the link is in the description. And we'll go through round 16. And we didn't have anyone with a 9 and 9. Normally, we have someone who at least gets one perfect score. But Charlie Harris with the 8 tips correct. He's on top of the round for round 16. And he tipped 8 with a margin of 3. King Josh is the footy tipping king in 2nd. Kobe Debrian in 3rd. Alec 3045. Redongle, Platinum, James Black, Snazzy, Benj Cohen, George T. Saints, Charlie Saffron, Jimmy YRP, Cooper Finn, Donkey22, Ado Beto, Mr. Team Coach, William Show, Cav 2006, Essendon Dons, and Howie 273, all on the 8. With a few Essendon and Saint supporters in the top 20, rightly so. We head to the overall leaders, and this is going to be interesting because every week they change the overall leaders. But in first spot, we still got Nick Dacle's official edging out second place with the 1 point with 123. Dino Marino with 122, continuing to be impressive. With Royal Marshal's son, Docker's Army, and Lion Boulder with 121. And there are a lot of other players with 120, 119, 118, chasing on the tails of the top 5. It's going to be a really thrilling finish to see who actually takes out the crown at the end of the season for my tipping comp. And remember, top 3 do get money and prizes. So if you are up the top and want to join it, feel free to do so. Link in the description to join my tipping comp. So anyways, guys, those are my round 17 AFL tips and predictions. As you've seen in the video, I did do the punishment. So if you want to see me do another stupid punishment like in the video, comment them down below. But just make sure they're appropriate and doable and won't get me into trouble, obviously. And the one with the most likes, or the top 3 of the most likes, will go into a wheel if I don't get 3 or more big calls correct. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, subscribe, leave a like, help me get to 20k real quick. Heaps of content coming up in the future, and we'll see you very soon in my next video.